Depressed? I know! Sayori, of all people! My goodness, that's awful. Poor girl. I hope she'll be alright. Hello fellow knights, Finn here, and welcome back to Doki Doki Blue Skies. And it seems that Operation Confession will commence in today's episode. So I got nothing else to talk about other than what happened last time in the previous episode. I had a talk, Finn had a talk with Emmy about Sayori, and it seems that he has grown a little liking Sayori, and that's about it. So seems like it's going to happen this Friday for the confession. So yeah, Operation Confession, guys. So you guys know the drill. And what time is it? It's Doki Doki time. Finally. The school day sure did take its sweet time. While it did drag on, I'd be lying if I said I was ready for what's about to come. Hey, Sayori. Are you, busy after school today?
Nope. Well, apart from homework, I didn't get much today.
Okay, well, I nervously scratched the back of my neck. Sayori eyes me curiously. Do you think we can hang out a bit? Today? After school? Please don't pick up on the desperation in my voice.
Sure. My place or yours?
Yours sounds good.
Okay, we haven't spent time together after school in a long time. What made you change your mind? Not that I'm complaining.
Come on now, I mean, as much as MC is a, a shut-in and all that, but come on now. It's always good to have, hang out with you at this point. Why am I getting a shrewd suspicion that she knows my plan and is just going along with it just to watch me squirm? Nothing.
Ooh, you don't have a Christmas tree for us to decorate, do you?
It's barely mid-November, Sayori. It's a bit too early for that. Yeah, well, especially on the country where I live, it's too early for Christmas. Come on now. But of course, get ready for the avalanche of Christmas memes coming in your way, fellow knights. You know what I mean.
Anyway, what do you want to do, Finn?
I don't think it's healthy for a human heart to beat this fast. Well, I guess we could do something, I guess. I wanted to tell you something, Sayori.
Okay, what's up?
It's now or never. Well, look, I really don't know the best way of saying this. Sayori, She's just sitting there, patiently waiting for me to speak. There's a hint of anticipation lurking in those blue eyes of hers. Taking a deep breath, I stare at the floor and let my mouth talk before my brain has a chance to catch up. Look, Sayori, I really like you, and I'm, really sorry if this changes anything between us, because I really value our friendship and I wouldn't want to ruin anything, so I guess it was ever since we were kids. I've always been drawn to you, and well, seeing you again after these years has been really nice, and I'm so glad we could get along like the huge gap in our history was never there. I really like you, Sayori, in that way, and well, I was just wondering how you felt. Like, do you feel the same way, or... I trail off into nothingness, cringing at how pathetic my confession must have sounded. As long as it's not bad, or in that matter, I guess. I don't know how confessions work really, but as long as you're honest with yourself, that's what matters. So much for be confident. The silence is getting overwhelming. Lifting my eyes off the safe haven that is the floor, I force myself to meet her gaze. The expression on her face is hard to read. Oh. This music. And look at her face. Okay. She's smiling, but at the same time, there's definitely a hint of sadness behind her eyes. What is it? Depression or tears of joy? I can tell.
I should have seen this coming. I guess it really is my own fault.
Huh? Fault? What do you mean?
I was selfish.
What? How?
I really like you too, Finn.
I should be feeling relieved, happy even, at hearing those words. Yet I can't help but feel like something is terribly amiss.
I think I always have, even when we first met.
She smiles warmly at me, but there are tears forming in her eyes that trickle down her face as she blinks.
You've always been so nice to me, even when I didn't deserve it. Even after we drifted apart, you were still willing to talk to me and see how I was doing. You took an interest in my club, even though I didn't think you'd enjoy literature. And at first, I was a little unsure. I wasn't sure if things would be like how they were when we were kids. Deep down, I was hoping they would. And over time, I guess I got my wish. Because they did. Your jokes, your personality, just by being around you. Every day was a walking reminder of easier times.
I don't get it, Sayori. If you like me too, and you're happy with me being around, what's the problem? She shakes her head.
It's not that easy. You just don't understand.
Of course I don't, Sayori. Can you blame me? I can tell there's something going on with you, but every time I try to help, you shut me down. Is it any surprise I don't understand? That day before the festival where you wouldn't even talk to anyone. And that day when you weren't in school. Something wasn't right that day. It was just a gut feeling. I've always been able to tell when something's wrong. Sayori, no matter how well you hide it.
I really wish you couldn't.
That horrible nightmare you had. You know some of the things you were saying? Oh yeah, a few episodes ago, she had a terrible nightmare. I can't remember what it was, but I'm sure she was crying, so... You think you're useless? That you don't want to do it anymore? What are you talking about? Please, Sayori, just tell me. What's so tiring? What don't you want to do anymore? Why do you think you're useless? Did someone say something nasty to you? I swear to Glob, if someone's been saying stuff, tell me and I'll go and
You're right, Finn. There is someone.
I clench my fist so hard that I can feel my nails digging into my palm. Who?
It's me.
I blink, stupefied. That was the last response I expected to hear. Okay. You? What on earth is that meant to mean? You're just saying stuff to yourself? We're just going around in circles here, Sayori. Please, enough with the mysteries and the vague answers. I've been honest with you. What could this horrible dark secret be that makes you so useless and unlikable?
Depression.
Oh. I knew it. I flippin' knew it was her depression, of course, because that's what makes, well, aside from Sayori's happy trait and all, there's depression. For the second time this evening, I'm a complete loss for words. Huh?
There. That's my secret, Finn.
You're depressed?
I've had depression for most of my life.
Oh. Oh my glob, Sayori. That was probably the most lackluster response I could have given you. I'm sorry.
Don't be. I would have expected you to know how to respond.
Well, if you need any help, then I guess we could seek a therapist for you. She gives a short, humorous laugh. I don't know what to say. I had no idea. I would have never known. You've always seemed so...
happy? Cheerful?
But I don't get it. I thought you were so happy? She sighs as tears slowly leak down her cheeks.
No, Finn. I never was. It was just a mask. I really tried to keep it up.
Her voice wavers as she speaks. Fresh tears fall down her face, but unlike the day of her nightmare, she makes no attempt to hide them. Her secret has been laid bare.
Every day, waking up, getting ready, walking to school, all of the things that people take for granted. And it's been so scary, so difficult. I was so scared that at any moment, I'd let my mask slip and you'd see the real me.
So that's what you were referring to when you said it was tiring? That you didn't want to do it anymore? She nods sadly. And all of the other things too, like waking up?
And eating, too. I don't have the energy to cook actual meals.
So that's why you went for pizzas and other junk food? Glob, it's all coming together now.
And the whole thing has been so bittersweet. Seeing you again, hanging out just like we used to. For the first time in what feels like such a long time, I felt something that felt alien to me. Happiness. It wasn't much, but it was something. Enough to help me through these days. Like when you warmed my hands up. I felt so bad in asking you to help, but sometimes I just couldn't help it. It's so hard fighting against what your heart wants. And as I start to like you, it terrified me.
But why?
Because it was getting harder and harder to resist being selfish.
Selfish?
Selfish in dragging you into my mess. You shouldn't be bothering with someone like me.
Sayori, don't say that. No. I wouldn't mind. I'll help you out, like you said.
Part of me wondered if me being so miserable would put you off.
Another sad smile.
But it didn't seem like you minded. No, you really stuck around and tried your best to comfort me, even though I was horrible to you and kept you at a distance. And now here we are, a situation that's both what I want to fear the most. I'm worthless, Finn. I couldn't care less about myself. I just want the others to be happy. And now that I've messed that up, because now you know about my depression, and knowing you, you'll definitely worry. I really couldn't win either way. I'm so sorry for dragging you into this, Finn. I tried so hard. But with you here, telling me you like me too.
Her voice is a mess at this point, a whirling mess of tears and anguish.
For once, I just wanted to embrace that selfishness and be your girlfriend.
It's almost like another person who looks just like Sayori has been talking. No, it is like it's a different person. As she spoke, I was sinking further and further into disbelief. How could it that be my happy, carefree childhood friend was harboring such a sad secret? You're definitely not selfish at all, Sayori. How could you be? You're one of the most selfless people that I know. You make it your duty to make everyone else happy. I could never not care about you. You're my best friend. And I'd do anything to make you happy again. That's the way to go. That's the way to go, MC. And, I was putting a lot of effort onto Sayori's, sad voice there. You like it? Let me know. I'm just so glad you told me this.
Why?
Oh, just come here.
Please don't hug me.
Ignoring her cries, I embrace her, holding her close to me. To my surprise, though, she pulls free and pushes me away from her. I didn't even know she had the strength.
I'm sorry, Finn. I really can't deal with this right now. Can you please leave?
Leave? Sayori, look what you just told me. Do you honestly expect me to just go like it didn't mean anything?
Yes.
I stare at her incredulously. Her resolution doesn't change. All sorts of feelings are swirling through my head right now. I'm still trying to process what she just told me. And even after suffering for years, she's still this stubborn? Anger floods through my veins. Probably an unreasonable reaction, but at this point I'm too emotionally charged to listen to rationality. Oh, so that's how it is, right? I'm allowed to tell you my problems and you're allowed to cheer me up, but I'm not allowed to help you? What kind of friendship is this, Sayori?
You'll never understand.
Of course I won't, because you never let anyone in. Is it any surprise I don't understand? I instantly regret raising my voice the moment the words leave my mouth.
Just go. Please.
Without any choice left, I dejectedly comply. Back in my own house, my mind is still racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Now that the heat of the moment has passed, I ashamedly realize that I probably handled that pretty poorly. Yes, it was frustrating being kept in the dark, then having such a huge bombshell dropped on me, then again being unable to help. But getting angry at her was the worst thing to do. MC, not gonna lie, that was pretty terrible. Like, I know it's not the right time to vent your anger like that, because you shouldn't raise your voice at her like that. I mean, sure, you really wanted to help, but that's not the way to go. Like, at all. Oh man, I guess, I don't know if I should declare Operation Confession as a, failure, but I don't know. We'll see how this goes, fellow knights. Man, I'm such an idiot. Ugh. Gosh darn it, Emmy. So much for female intuition, eh? Well, there's one person who hopefully should be able to help. Grabbing my phone, I hastily punch in a phone number and hope she's free. Oh yeah, Mom C! I've forgotten about her! Well, aside from a few episodes ago, and, well, from the previous one, I think, but, oh yeah, oh yes, now it's all coming together. We definitely need Mom C's help.
Finn, hi! What's up?
Mom, I told Sayori how I felt it, and it...
Didn't go well?
Yeah, but not for the reason you'd think. I really don't know how to put this because I'm still trying to process it myself, so I'll just lay it out. Sayori likes me too, but she couldn't bring herself to act on those feelings because she's depressed. There's a heavy silence for a beat. Depressed? I know! Sayori, of all people!
Oh, I see. My goodness, that's awful. Poor girl. I hope she'll be alright.
I really hope she will be. Mom, I acted like such an idiot.
What happened?
Well, when she told me she was depressed, I tried to comfort her by hugging her. But she pushed me away and told me to leave. And I'm kicking myself.
Go on.
Her tone is gentle. I got angry at her and I raised my voice. It was just so frustrating not being able to help her, and I wasn't thinking straight.
Oh, darling. You're not an idiot at all. I understand it must have been so frustrating. No, shouting at her wasn't the best idea, but it's not like you set out to hurt her, is it?
Well, no.
It happens during arguments, don't worry.
Think glob.
There are so many other things too. She said she feels worthless and she felt selfish in even telling me what was going on.
So that explains why she rejected your hug. There's a sigh on the other end.
Sweetheart, this must be so difficult for both of you. It must feel so overwhelming. Believe me, I know what your situation is like.
You do?
Mm-hmm. I once dated someone with depression and it wasn't easy. It's one of the hardest things to watch someone we love suffer like that. And we just don't understand it when they say such negative things about themselves.
It was horrible, Mom. It didn't even feel like Sayori was talking. I just never saw it coming. I mean, I knew that something was going on with her. But I just thought having days where you're in a low mood were normal, you know? Well, from what I've gathered, she's awfully convincing at wearing that facade. If it's any consolation, I don't think anyone could have guessed that she was depressed. Either way, the worst part of depression is probably that it's just so loud and convincing. It's got a horrible tendency to dominate the thoughts of whoever's got it. And it can be really hard to take them off the depression-tinted glasses. It's an illness, and unfortunately mental illnesses can be just as significant as physical ones. Something I wish this country would recognize. So, what can I do for her? What do I do? Can I even do anything? Yes, Momsy, please, I need to make her happy. What can I do? You can definitely help her out. I didn't mean to make you feel like you were powerless or anything. It's okay. I'm glad you're being honest, I guess. It's just kind of hard to realize exactly what we're dealing with here, so it'd help to be informed, right? You've become really mature, Finn. I'm proud of how well you're handling this. I'm not handling this well at all, Mom. I had no idea how to react. I shouted at her and she was in tears. Would anyone who isn't a mental health professional know how to deal with what you have just been told? Anyway, the most important advice I can give you is not to expect a quick fix. Depression isn't something that can be fixed with love. It isn't your job to fix her, but you can still help her. I was starting to think I was completely useless here. Of course not, darling. She loves you as well, don't forget. It won't be all doom and gloom. You'll have days where things will be normal and days where she really isn't faking her mood. But then you'll also have days where she won't have the energy to get out of bed, days where she just won't feel like talking to anyone. And it's really important that you're as patient and understanding as you can be during those days. Oh, and communication's a big one. That goes for any relationship, really. It sounds really obvious, but talk to her. Let her tell you about how she sees the world and what her thoughts, feelings, and fears are. There's gonna be problems. There's gonna be fights. Those are healthy and part of any relationship. I gotta say, then it's definitely a lover's quarrel, I think. If anything's bugging you or someone's bothering her, just talk it out. Communication is the key to a successful relationship. Believe me. I can't help but laugh. You sound like one of those relationship gurus. It's a mother's job to guide her children, you know. Like I said, mothers knows best. Thanks, Momsy. As an aside, never underestimate how helpful it can be just to listen to someone's problems and worries. Just having someone listen can be so helpful, more than you could ever realize. Funny you mentioned that, because I was going to ask if Sayori could see a therapist or a doctor. MC! You just read my mind! Thank you! Yes, I think that'd probably be for the best. Although things like therapy and medication don't always work for everyone, it's tempting to see it as a magical fix, but just remember it'll take time. There's so much more I want to discuss, but unfortunately, you caught me at a really bad time. It's times like these in particular that I feel awful for not being around. It'd be really nice to see you again, Mom. I'm really hoping I can come to visit soon. And for what it's worth, you're much stronger than you realize, and I'm very proud of you. Just remember that, okay? I'll try. Give it a day or two before you talk to her. By the way, I think she'll need a little bit of time to cool off. I'm sure that if you apologize for getting angry and rationally explaining your side of things, she'll come around. She never struck me as a girl who could hold a grudge. Emotions were running high from what I can gather, so she'll understand it. And I know it seems really bleak right now, but it'll be okay, Finn. I just know it. I really hope so, Mom. Just remember that your support will be just as important as what a doctor or therapist can offer her. You really got such a big heart. Show her just how big that heart really is. I love you. Love you too, Mom, and thanks for everything. Anytime, bring me whenever you need help, okay? Wearily, I flopped down onto the sofa. Feels like such a lot happened in a short space of time. I just hope Sayori and I can patch things up. I'm sure of it. I'm really sure. Just have hope and determination. Just don't give up. Because hope keeps on going, fellow knights. And well, for MC too. Man, am I glad that it's Saturday today. There would be no chance in heck that I'd be able to concentrate if today were a school day. Her revelation keeps replaying over and over in my mind. Depression. A nasty sounding word. And in some ways, quite foreign. I guess I was kinda sheltered. Prior to Sayori, I never knew any people with the condition. It was something I was of course aware of, but I never paid any real thought into it. I mean, I knew what it was. What? Sorry, it's, blah, 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 that's where my tongue stops working. Psychology has always been at least vaguely interesting to me, but I never really saw a real person to look into it. Well, psychology. Okay, I remember now. I am so sorry, fellow knights. I don't know words sometimes. And Sayori said that she's been depressed for most of her life. So I can't help but wonder, when did it all develop? What caused it? Was she bullied? Or did a close friend or family member die? There's so many things I want to ask her right now. But as Mom said, it's best to give Sayori some to cool off. I'll give it a couple of days. Besides, I've got a lot of homework to be getting on with. Well, that Sakurai is way out of... that Sakurai is out of the way first. Man, the end of the war really had huge effects on the world. It's time for a break, I reckon. What to play? It really is a first problem to have so many games available but still not know what to play. Oh, well, I guess Minecraft or Genshin Impact. Just so many choices. I don't know either, but it's either Minecraft or Genshin Impact, I guess. A colorful looking title catches my eye. What? Okay. Man, not even escapism from video games is doing the trick. Perhaps I should go for a walk instead? Being cooped up indoors probably isn't doing any favors for my health. Mom used to harp on about the importance of fresh air. I stand up and stretch, wearily rubbing my neck. Yep, some fresh air wouldn't go amiss. I mean, better than just, staying all day, so that's a lot better. At this point in the day, the park is rather quiet. Not as many people come to this part of the park anyway. Which is a shame, because this part is arguably the prettiest thanks to the lake. Being the middle of November, there's a quite definite chill in the air, though I'm wrapped up warm, so I can barely feel it. There's a comfortable lull in the air, especially after the overwhelming nature of last night. The silence is a perfect antidote, being therapeutic and calm. Well, this is nice. Yeah, this is a really nice place to just relax and, well, look and reflect on things, I think, so this is perfect. Sure, I have the house to myself, but there's no substitute for fresh, cool air. Maybe my parents were right when they kept that healthy body, healthy mind mantra. As calm as the atmosphere is, it's not doing much for the whirlwind that is my mind. Looking back, how could I have been so stupid? How did I miss all the signs? Am I really that dense? Thinking about it, the fairy tale poem makes so much sense now. The selfishness, the devotion to keeping others happy regardless of her own mental state. The signs were all there. Struggling to wake up on time, which explains why she was always late. And the nightmare. And when she finally told me her most painful secret, how did I respond? By shouting at her and making her cry. Great friend you are, Finn. Just don't do that ever again. But I'm sure for the second time, things will get better, hopefully. No wonder she didn't even want to tell me in the first place. I was so pushy, so demanding, yet when she told me, instead of being empathetic and understanding, I did the exact opposite. I wouldn't even surprise me if she didn't want to be friends anymore. She ever forgive me? Although whether she should or not is a whole another question. Even if she did forgive me, what could I even do about her depression? Her self-perception seems so cemented. Would I be making things worse by getting involved? Or would I be able to help her? I don't know. Being a normal teenage guy doesn't really afford me much sensibility. Even though it might sound a bit melodramatic, I can't help but feel like I barely even know Sayori anymore. How much of her happiness is just a mask? It can't be all of it. Finn? What? Being so lost in my thoughts, I didn't even notice Yuri's presence. Yuri? Oh, hey Yuri. Didn't see you there.
I'm not bothering you, am I?
Oh, hello Yuri. Long time no see, since Friday? Thursday? I can't remember. But, okay, I didn't see you here.
You look rather deep in thought.
Oh, you're fine. Would be nice to have some company, actually. She smiles shyly and takes a seat next to me. The accompanying silence is not awkward in the slightest, which surprises me. Then again, Yuri is no stranger to deep thoughts herself, and she's definitely used to being reflective and quiet.
I didn't expect to see you here.
Didn't expect me to come to a quiet park when it's dark, especially in the middle of winter, huh?
Not really, no. The dark and the cold combined tend to put most people off. If you don't mind me asking, what brings you here?
Well, I'm being lost in thoughts about Sayori, actually, and I really need help with that. There's a lot on my mind, and I figured some fresh air would do me good, you know?
Ah, I see. Perhaps we're more alike than I first imagined. Whenever I'm troubled by something, I always find quiet period of reflection in the evening can be really helpful. Something about the stillness of the night. It's much easier to think when you're in an environment such as this one.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, it helps just to take a step back and breathe. I've actually known this park for as long as I can remember. My parents used to take Sayori and I here all the time. Countless memories throughout the years.
That sounds wonderful, Finn. To be able to share such happy times with someone as you both grew up. Although I'm curious, given how much time you two seem to spend with one another, I would have thought Sayori would be with you now.
I look it down momentarily, poking at a twig with my shoe. Well, we kinda had a fight.
Oh, that comes as quite a surprise, given how close you two seem to be. Then again, I suppose it's inevitable that fights occur between people, no matter their dynamics.
Yuri starts fiddling with her hair.
Not that I mean to pry, but may I ask why you had a fight in the first place?
I grimace as I reply. As much as I enjoy talking to Yuri and appreciate her company here, there's no way I can reveal Sayori's secret to her. Not yet, at least, but I don't know. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's not that I don't want to tell you, and it's nothing personal.
I understand completely, Finn. I suppose it was a rather personal question.
She just told me something really private, and that horrible familiar feeling of shame bubbles up whenever I recount how I reacted to her confession. I didn't take it very well, and I said some really stupid stuff. I got angry at her, and I shouted at her. I'm an awful friend. I lean forwards, burying my face in my hands. There's an awkward, heavy silence for a few moments.
Finn? I know that I haven't known you for as long as Sayori has, but please believe me when I say you're not an awful friend. I don't know what was said between you two, but everyone says things that they don't mean during arguments, especially when tensions are running high. That's something my parents once told me, and it really is true. If you take my argument with Natsuki back in September, in the heat of the moment, I said some rather hurtful things. However, I didn't actually mean them, and I'm fairly confident that Natsuki feels the same way too. Please don't be too hard on yourself. I can tell that Sayori means a lot to you, and you're ever so patient and kind with her. If I may be so bold to say, perhaps you don't realize it, but you do a lot for her. Little things such as walking to school with her in the mornings and walking her home in the afternoons. But most importantly, whenever she's feeling sad, you really take it upon yourself to find out what's wrong so you can comfort her. We can all see that your care and consideration for her shines like a beacon.
Yeah, that's all well and good and all, but I still hurt her really badly.
Friends always hurt each other, Finn. It's just an unfortunate reality of being human. From what I can gather, she isn't someone who could hold a grudge. So whatever issue there is between you guys, I'm confident you'll be able to sort it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound presumptuous or anything.
You're not been presumptuous in the slightest, Yuri. Your insight has been really refreshing. I still feel bad, but you made me realize that perhaps things aren't as bleak as they seem. So, thank you. Seriously, it means a lot. You're a really good friend.
Thank you, Finn.
Yuri, come on, it's okay. You helped me out with the words that I really needed, and I definitely needed that at all, and I really need to get my thoughts into it as well, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm glad I was able to help.
I can't help but grin. Yuri's shyness has always been endearing, especially when it clashes against her intelligent, mature outlook oh so much. Anyway, I should ask you the same question. What brings you here? It's okay, you don't have to disclose anything, I won't pry. But just know that you ever need someone to talk to, I'm here, and so are the other girls, okay? I remember how horrible those people during the festival recital were to you, and I'd hate to think that you were suffering in silence or anything like that.
Finn, you are truly too kind.
I mean, that's what I am, really. If you need a friend in need, I'm always happy to help, and plus, what would anyone be? I mean, what would I be if I'm not a Diamond Knight or a hero or anything like that? I mean, I'm a good friend, alright? Just, it's what I do. I have a strict code of honor, and not only that, I'm loyal, friendly, helpful, everything.
Very much appreciate your words, and I'm very glad that Sayori told you about your club.
I know I said it back in September, but honestly, I'll say it again. I'm just grateful that you guys accepted me with open arms. You didn't judge me because I wasn't a poet, nor did you ever laugh at how bad my poems were. I know they weren't particularly to your taste, but you still gave me good advice and feedback.
Well, I believe that everyone should be included. No one deserves to be an outcast, irrespective of their hobbies, or interests, or their writing ability. I just wish others would be as accepting and inclusive of those with interests that go against the norm.
She's nervously picking at her sleeves, almost pulling them up over to her hands. Well, for what it's worth, I think your interest in horror and taste in literature and poetry is really cool, Yuri. It really makes for a nice change of discussion and gives you interesting stuff to talk about. Like when you discussed Frankenstein's monster with me at lunchtime. I never really gave it much thought, but after you had that talk with me, it helped me realize that we shouldn't just take stuff at face value. Oh, and your poems are awesome. Hey, yeah, of course. All poems are awesome, not gonna lie. Or, well, in that context, all of the members' poems are awesome, but I still like Sayori's, honestly. But I'm saying, though, everyone's awesome. I hope that one day I'll be able to write to your level.
That really means a lot. I'm glad that you have such an open mind, Finn, in this day of age, and to find a mind so free of prejudice, I guess, and misconception. It's truly a breath of fresh air. Thank you. Anyway, I don't mean to cut short our discussion, but unfortunately, I have a lot of homework to be getting on with.
Ah, yeah, me too. Procrastination can only get you so far, eh? Catch you later, Yuri. Hope everything gets better.
And you, Finn.
With a wave, we both depart. Well, that's not such a bad discussion, not gonna lie, and yeah, I guess it kinda helps, really. Thank you, Yuri. Oh. Another day at school. At least it's mid-November now, so the Christmas break isn't too far off. Oh, well then. Not sure what's going on with that one, but we'll see what's up for Christmas, I guess. Man, speaking of Christmas and such, well, it's too early for that one, but still. Thank you, Yuri, for the kindful discussion and, helpful discussion rather, and also for Mom C as well. I really am glad that we had that talk and such for the help on how to cure Sayori's depression and all that. I'm sure the doctor and therapist would definitely help her on that one. So yeah, sorry again for leaving you on a cliffhanger again, or not, I don't know, but we'll see that again in the next episode of Doki Doki Blue Skies, fellow knights. So anywho, if you like what you're seeing and enjoy what you're watching, be sure to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. It will help me a huge bunch in making more content like this, and click on the bell notification to be notified. And of course, if you want to play this mod for yourself, as always, link in the description below. And with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Finn the Dark Knight signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay awesome and have fun, fellow knights and adventurers.